This year's 2026 World Economic Forum is very different to prior years. Last year, nobody really said much about Bitcoin on the main stage, but this year we have Donald Trump in his highly anticipated speech saying the reasons why U.S. needed to adopt Bitcoin before China. We also have his son, Eric Trump, saying that the big banks are actively trying to destroy the Bitcoin Clarity Act. And we have something we thought we'd never see at Davos. Brian Armstrong defending Bitcoin from an attack from the chair of the Bank of International Settlements. I have a lot of clips for you guys today, so let's get into it. First one, I'm actually going to play a couple Brian Armstrong's clips for you guys, but I want to start with this one. I think this sets the stage for everything that I'm going to play afterwards for you. This is a part of that conversation debate we had with Brian Armstrong and a chairman of the Bank of International Settlements. I'm going to play you the longer clip in the numbers because I think that's a really good clip as well. But this sets the stage. Here we go.
People think about our current financial system as kind of sacrosanct and it's the only way to do it. But if you study the history of money, really it's got created in like 1971 when Nixon went off the gold standard in the US, and we currently have the system where most central banks don't have any link to a hard commodity underneath. I think fiat currencies are going to continue to exist for a long time, but we're also seeing the birth of a new monetary system that I would call the Bitcoin standard instead of the gold standard. And in the crypto space, that is a return to sound money and something that is inflation resistant, because democracies around the world, once we came off the gold standard, are struggling to balance their budget. They're all running deficits, and it's caused inflation in fiat currencies. And so there is a real segment of the population that is looking for a new system based on hard money.
Well, it may have taken Brian Armstrong 16 years to go full Bitcoin maxi at Davos World Economic Forum, but he's literally talking about the Bitcoin standard. And this is the speech that I'm going to play you the longer clip that really made the rounds, where there is like an aggressive debate here. But it is very interesting. I saw a lot of conversation about the specific date, 1971. We had Ursula von der Leyen saying something very similar about the 1971 date. Of course, there has been this conversation around fiat currencies, but we're going to start with first just acknowledging Brian Armstrong talking about Bitcoin positively at the World Economic Forum, which he's kind of been on some Giga Chad levels the last couple of days. He's been going pretty hard. He's been saying very nice things around Bitcoin. It is hard to trust Brian Armstrong and Coinbase in general, but the recent rhetoric is pretty good considering, he's actually, maybe it's like a bear market thing. That's usually how it goes. The shitcoiners usually come out. They start saying nice things about Bitcoin, and then once it starts pumping, they start saying, Bitcoin and shitcoins. Maybe that's where we are right now, but I don't know. The narrative shift from 2026 to 2025, I think, is completely different. I don't remember too much conversations last year at the World Economic Forum around Bitcoin. I do remember Jamie Dimon saying, like, I'm never going to talk about Bitcoin again. We did have Larry Fink kind of pumping his bags with the ETFs. Now it seems like almost every other conversation at the World Economic Forum is talking about Bitcoin or digital assets and cryptocurrencies in general. And they've really, really fundamentally shifted their view on energy use this year, specifically because of AI. It's kind of I'm not surprised to see it. I didn't bring up, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Howard Lutnick video, another Bitcoiner talking about the end of globalism. Some of these conversations are, at least from the U.S. perspective, or rather from U.S. people, representatives, they're kind of on point. So let's start here. I do have Donald Trump and his son, and we'll chat about it a little more. But Nico, what's your thoughts on Brian Armstrong being actually positive on Bitcoin?
I mean, it's not surprising. He does represent, the largest publicly traded Bitcoin exchange and altcoin exchange in the United States. So, it's the enemy of your enemy is your friend type of situation. Like, he is going to bat against the globalist. He is going to bat against the central bankers, against people that believe in the future of fiat. So, even though our incentives don't completely align, and Brian Armstrong isn't a through and through Bitcoin maxi, he still kind of represents the broader crypto industry, right? And that's why he's at least advocating for an alternative. And the enemy of your enemy is your friend in this type of situation. And that's what I really see with Brian Armstrong in this case, is that his incentives are aligned with us Bitcoiners. And he's willing to say that in Davos. And another thing I've been telling you guys all year as well is, if you're not in the room, you're not in the deal. And like, what bigger room to be at than like Davos? Like this is like the same conference or forum that we used to say, like, if the Bitcoin conference was the conference for Bitcoiners, the Davos forum was the conference for central bank digital currencies. Like when Simply Bitcoin was edgy, that's what we used to say. And now, like, you literally have someone representing the Bitcoin industry at Davos, on the news desk that they have with all the bankers. And I gotta say too, like, the Trump speech this morning was quite interesting. So they got rid of Klaus, our friend Klaus, right? You eat the bugs, you own nothing and be happy. And they had Larry Fink, right? But Larry Fink and Donald Trump's handshake was quite interesting. A lot was said that wasn't said, So I got to point that out. That's what I got to point out. I also got to point out that, he just went up there and just kept dropping like bazookas, bro. He just kept dropping pineapples left and right, like big pointy pineapples, because he just kept saying, like, America's number one. We've closed the border. I don't really give a flying F about anywhere else around the world. America's dope. We crushed it. It's the 1 year anniversary since I got sworn into president twice. He was dropping bombs left and right, dude. And I gotta be honest, like, I'm all about that. I like that. I like that. I'm more in that direction.
All right. Well, speaking of Trump, let's play the portion of his conversation, or rather speech, that he did hit on Bitcoin. It's going to open up a whole other can of worms. Actually, Nico, I obviously you caught this whole speech, but he did confirm a lot of the things that we've said about why they embrace Bitcoin before he actually said it out loud. So let's play it, and then we'll chat about it.
To unleash innovation in savings and financing, I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world. And to that end, last year, I signed the landmark Genius Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation, Bitcoin, all of them, which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. And I did it for two reasons. Number one, I thought it was politically good, and it was. I got tremendous political support. But more importantly, China wanted that market too. It's just like they want the AI. And we've got that market, I think, pretty well locked up. If I didn't do it, Biden was totally against it until before the election, when they realized that, there were millions of people voting against him over crypto. And all of a sudden, they loved it very much, but it was too late. They blew it. But it is politically popular, but it's much more importantly, we have to make it so that China doesn't get the hold of it. And once they have that hold, we're not going to be able to get it back.
I mean,
dude, we've said that multiple times on the show before.
I mean, tomorrow's Bitcoin news today. Hashtag simply Bitcoin. Yeah, bro. I mean, it's not surprising. It is surprising, but it's not surprising. It is surprising, not surprising. We called it. We definitely called it. But yeah, I mean, it just goes down to incentives, like, fundamentally, right? And the fact that this is even being brought up in Davos in like a positive light, I think is a major milestone. The only thing that I'm just waiting for is the effing price, bro. That's the only thing I'm waiting
Wow,
for.
still getting bearish. Amazing.
That's the only thing I'm waiting for, right? Like, like Bitcoin is being fought for in Davos by Brian and Trump. And normally if these things would have happened, the price would have ripped like 50% by now, dude. Like in the 2017 era, like with these, dude, like the price was ripping off rumors, bro. Do you remember that? Like
yeah,
it was a rumor. It was like a rumor that like a bank was involved and like the price would rip like 50%. That's not the case anymore.
No, not at all. And we've had so much good news and nothing's happened. It's been crazy. Though I like you said, I think the significance of this speech, like everyone was at the World Economic Forum just like waiting for Trump to talk. Like I think the whole room was packed. He's up there just like Trump in full, Teflon Don mode out there. And I think the fact that he even brought up Bitcoin on that world stage, I think it like the significance might be lost on more people. It's like, okay, we've heard him say this before. But again, this is a huge departure from what we've seen in the World Economic Forums in the past, where usually, as Nico said, we would always joke that the Bitcoin Magazine conference was the real Bitcoin conference. That was the Fiat CBDC conference. And now there's Bitcoin being talked about on the main stage in front of, quote unquote, the most powerful people in the world. And he felt the need to be like, yeah, this is why we're doing Bitcoin. Not only was it politically a smart move, but we don't want China to be number one, which, there's still the whole beef of like, China's been saying we can't be Trump's political scapegoat, et cetera, et cetera. And Trump's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, we want Bitcoin. You're not going to get Bitcoin. And then he did bring up the Financial Clarity Act or the Financial Markup Bill. What's it? Financial structure. I'm blanking on what it is right now today. Anyways, he's talking about the fact that they're working on it again. We did see a clip on CNBC Squawk Box of David Sachs, the crypto czar, essentially saying if this Clarity Act passes, he expects all banks to essentially go in. We did get a kind of slightly different tune from Eric Trump, which is the clip that I do want to play, which does kind of align with what we've been hearing from Brian Armstrong, again, of Coinbase, that the big banks are fighting this bill. So we'll see where this ends up, but let's hear what Eric Trump has to say.
I mean, the big banks have been an absolute monopoly over our financial system for years. You and I have joked about it 1,000 times. Why can't you send a wire transfer past 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon? You know why? Because the big banks would love to take hundreds of billions of dollars and have it sit there and clip interest off of it over the course of a long weekend, as opposed to letting you just efficiently move that money using modern day technology, and have it in a separate wallet 2 seconds later. They want to be able to use their money. They want to be able to arbitrage their money. And so, the big banks are doing everything they can to stop some of the crypto legislation for obvious reasons. Why?
Well, it's looking like the World Economic Forum has now just become a Bitcoin conference. I saw this interesting screenshot. So, Nico, take this. I want to pull the screenshot that I saw, but let's combine all of this. What we're hearing coming out of the World Economic Forum. Where are we in the movie now? What is your take on this?
We are in the process of being co-opted. I think what we wanted as Bitcoiners for so long is for Bitcoin to be embraced by TradFi and by governments. Like that was the dream. Like we were all aspiring for that to be true for like many, many years now. And now that we got it, it's like the cypherpunkness of Bitcoin. It's almost like as if it's faded a little bit, right? And I don't think that's a good thing. I think we got to remember our roots. I think we got to remember like why we're here, what we're fighting for. And that's where we are in the movie. And is Bitcoin going to survive this attack? Because it is an attack. I was seeing our boy from the Bitcoin Way posting this earlier this morning, and he was essentially talking about how like, look, like self-custody is the only way. And I was at Bitcoin Day in Naples over the weekend, and me and Gary Cardone were just going back and forth, and I was advocating for self-custody, and he was like, look, like I'm worth a bunch of money, and I'm just not gonna like stamp those words into a piece of metal and bury it in my backyard, right? And you have a lot of people that are thinking this way, but ultimately, I think that if the majority of Bitcoin is not held in self custody, I think Bitcoin fails. And maybe that's a very like unpopular opinion, but I think it's 100% true. Like we had Chris, who was a hedge fund manager, worked in the Bitcoin space for a long time now, extremely smart, and we point blank asked him, Opti. We said, "Hey, like, Bitcoin been co-opted?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, absolutely." And there's chemtrails in the sky, right? Like one thing after the other.
Yeah, but that James O'Keefe video was pretty crazy.
But you know, he called it, and he was able to like explain it in a very kind of like financially literate way, because that's his background, and he explained the mechanism as to, you know, why and how that was happening, right? So, you know, that's my take on all this.
Okay. All right. Did you catch this screenshot though? Let me pull this up, guys. Check out this screenshot. Apparently this was at, is it up? Oh, wrong way.
Also, you guys are going to want to stay tuned, because in the next segment, guys, we're going Rumble only, and we got our boy Bitcoin Ben waiting in the wings. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned for that, because it's going to be fantastic. Anyways, Opti.
Okay. All right. I guess we're just gonna go straight into Rumble only here today. Okay. Awesome. All right. Look at this screenshot here, guys. Check this out. So this is from Melissa Chen, and she says, "I took a picture of this slide at the World Economic Forum meeting, and it shows you why. It outlines the key building blocks that together form an quote operating system for the fourth industrial revolution. AI is the central, most powerful driver. Hence, it's on top." Though, if you zoom in here, let me zoom in here. You can see, you know, World Economic Forum on top. We got drones, autonomous vehicles, precision medicine, environment up top. We have AI, machine learning. We have
Ben's in the house, Opti.
Oh, do I have to shut it off now?
I wanted to welcome him on stage.
Am I shutting off now?
Keep going.
Okay. And then we have digital trade and cross-border flows. We have data policy, Internet of Things, and at the very bottom, blockchain. Now, of course, they're using the dirty word of blockchain, but it is very interesting that the very base of the fourth industrial revolution now at the World Economic Forum, they may have not said Bitcoin yet, but they are saying blockchain, which I think is very interesting, just to show how far things have come. And though I do hear people on our chat probably like, "Oh, I told you, dude, they want to turn cash into digital currencies, bro." And we're always like, "Yeah, but Bitcoin is, you know, they can't control Bitcoin. They can probably control these private blockchains here." So I see where they're coming from, but also this World Economic Forum now is just sounding like a Bitcoin conference at this point. It's kind of insane to me.
I told you, man. Like I told you. I said it very clearly. I said, look, you know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was, we were like fighting. You know, we were cypherpunks, man. We were fighting for freedom. We were all about separation of money and state. And like over the last year or two, since we've got embraced by the political establishment, everyone is just saying, you know, whoop-de-doo, right? You know, you have politicians speaking at Bitcoin conferences, which I thought was a historical milestone. But I'll look, you know, again, maybe not enough data here to point this out, but I will mention that, look, ever since the introduction of the Bitcoin ETF, Opti, the volatility of Bitcoin has been quite dampened a little bit, right? Anyways, we got our boy Bitcoin Ben in the house. I love the monthly special of having Ben on. We're gonna go completely unfiltered after the break, and Ben's gonna unleash. But Ben, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's up, Nico? How are you guys?
Thanks for joining us, man. So yeah,
No
we're
problem.
we're just go ahead.
I'm gonna be nice-ish until we get over the Rumble. And there's a lot to talk about. I mean, if it was up to me, Trump would not actually be over in Switzerland, and we would just blow up that whole area while everyone's
Metaphorically.
metaphorically, because it's these are the people at the root of our issues. It's it if you want to know the elites, it's all of them.
Yep.
And the issue is they think that they're doing good.
But I got a question for you, Ben. Are they, is it good that Bitcoin is being included in these conversations now?
Oh, absolutely. Because they don't have a choice now. It is the elephant in the room, and it's the elephant that they don't own. That's what really bothers them. If it was their elephant, they'd be like, "Oh, this is great. Oh, this is awesome." And don't let Larry Fink, uh, he's a liar. He's a liar just like the rest of them. He doesn't care about freedom. He doesn't care that it's decentralized. All he cares about is that BlackRock has some horse in that race. And that's it. That's what BlackRock is. They own a lot of a lot.
Yeah.
But what we actually know is it's a Trojan horse. And the price right now, it is on purpose being held down.
Well, let's talk about that, because you're not the first person who's told us this, Ben. Like, how are they doing this? Because, like, I think all of us Bitcoiners are feeling a certain way with the recent price action. Like, we're trying to make sense of it. We can't make sense of it. Like, what's your take on that, Ben? Because it is a little bit weird. It is a little bit strange. You know, the recent price action. I mean, this thing's been going sideways for a year plus now.
Let's look at it this way. All of us, we value the little amount of cash we have, although it's cash and it's junk because it's fiat and all. We are at war with the people who print the money. They don't care if they lose money. It's if they win the war. So we are out here like, man, all right, I got $100. I'm going to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. But these people will print money and go out and actually purchase a ton of Bitcoin, and then they'll sell it for a loss, because it isn't about the money. It's about the control. If you had unlimited currency, you could just print it out of thin air. But you had something that was going to replace your power system you've actually put in place. You would print money and you would go out, you'd actually buy it, and as soon as it went up some, you sell a bunch of it, and then it drops, because this is all human emotion. That's what they're really after. They want to make sure that all of us who have had these wild up and down prices, like, man, look Look at like 2013, 2014, 2016, 17, 18. Look at these price jumps. We're at incredible, just people making money everywhere. And then it goes flat, just completely flat. Right now, temporarily, it is trapped in the corrupt washing machine where they'll let it go up some. Then as soon as they need an emotional reaction where we're just getting a little bit too happy, they slap it down. And then everyone's like, oh man, because that's how they get you. It's emotional. They know every single market is, when you look at a chart, what you're seeing is an EKG of human emotion.
Okay.
All right, that's what a chart is. Oh, we're excited. Oh, we're depressed. Oh, we're excited. Oh, we're depressed. And that they know they can screw with all of us. And they have two things they're really working on right now. Number one, they want as few of us in this as possible, because they know they only have a limited amount of time that they can hold this down, because it is truly limited supply. They cannot print up some more Bitcoin. So they know they have a limited amount of time. So does Michael Saylor. So does all of these large players. So does BlackRock. They know they need to accumulate as much as possible, as quick as possible, without moving the price. Because when this thing hits and we're at a shock, the price is going to skyrocket, and it's going to catch everyone off guard. No one's going to be prepared, because we will have had half of everyone we know just walk away from Bitcoin. It was fun while it lasted. Now it's just kind of bouncing along. It's not really exciting. It isn't AI. It isn't sexy anymore. It's just Bitcoin. Well, as soon as that emotion is as low as it can possibly go, that's when it takes off, because they want us average Joes and average Janes. They know what this is. This is an economic, monetary, global network revolution. They know they can't slow it down. TikTok, next block, suck my, and I'm just saying, all right? And they know it like we know it, but they're playing it cool. They're like, oh, BlackRock, look how much Bitcoin BlackRock has. It isn't an accident that BlackRock, as soon as they wanted an ETF, all of a sudden, here comes Gary Suck My fucking Gensler. Right? And it was like, yeah, hey, you know what would be a good idea? A Bitcoin ETF. Good thinking, Larry. You piece of crap.
Guys, we're going to go completely unfiltered. Go right now. We're going to end the stream on YouTube. Go to rumble.com/simplybitcoin. We've been doing these. This is the second episode. But we're gonna be doing these monthly now that we got Ben in the house. And essentially, it's an unfiltered version of the Simply Bitcoin live show, exclusively on Rumble and X, and of course the podcasting platforms. So we're gonna end the stream on YouTube. If you guys want to continue watching the show, go right now. We'll give you guys a little bit of time. Just go to rumble.com/simplybitcoin to continue watching the show. where Ben is going to go Bitcoin. Ben is going to be completely unfiltered for the next hour or so. It's going to be fantastic. All the things that we were just talking about regarding the World Economic Forum, Larry Fink, what they're going on. This is a fantastic topic.
I just put it in the YouTube description, guys.
Yeah,
so you guys go straight to the episode.
Yeah. So just if you guys want to continue watching the show, again, I'm going to put it in the chat. Head over to our Rumble. It's picking up. I see it's picking up. We already have over 100. So if you guys want to continue watching the show, head over to rumble.com/simplybitcoin. We're going to go completely unfiltered today. We're going to be talking about Davos, the World Economic Forum, Larry Fink, Donald Trump, Bitcoin, how Bitcoin plays into all this. Opti, I think we should.
The global elite.
And the global elite. Opti's got some clips that I want Bitcoin Ben to react to. There's still 300 people watching us on YouTube. Head over to Rumble right now. Head over to Rumble. Switch over to Rumble. We'll wait for you guys. We got 112 on Rumble. This is good. It's
or maybe we just end it and then they have to go over there.
This is true.
Just hit the transition. We're going to end it after the ads.
So yeah, guys, head over to rumble.com/simplybitcoin right now. You're going to get a Simply Bitcoin live show, completely unfiltered. And again, we're going to be doing these monthly. This is the second episode. Every time Bitcoin Ben joins the show, we're going to go unfiltered on Rumble and X. All right, everybody, we're going to be right back in just a little bit. Today's episode is brought to you by Bitcoin Well Infinite. If you're a serious Bitcoin buyer, you've probably hit the same wall. Most platforms make you give up custody just to play by the rules. Bitcoin Well Infinite fixes that. They're North America's only publicly traded, non-custodial OTC desk listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, which means transparent operations and zero counterparty risk.
You buy Bitcoin, you take immediate control